egg@flagfamily.com. And we'd love to hear from our listeners, don't we, Bridgette?
Every time we get a chance, that would be great. Let us know what you're thinking and how we can help. Because sometimes listeners give us homework, and I'm okay with that. I don't mind hearing what they might suggest for us. It's pretty cool.
I actually had some homework for you the other day. I was like, I need to give this to Bridgette and give her an assignment. And I totally forgot what it was.
Okay, so I guess no assignment for me right now?
We'll postpone it for now. How about that? I still want it by the end of the day, though.
Perfect. I can't wait for that deadline.
You get till midnight, and you can use a Dropbox.
Okay. Well, here is my visual reminder for those who are watching on the live stream. June is Dairy Month.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for people to be able to pay attention to it, I rummaged through some boxes last night and found my Dairy Princess sash and crown. Here we go, people. This is your reminder. It is indeed June is Dairy Month right here.
Sure is. And how are the dairy producers doing? Are they still coming across those issues where they're dumping milk or?
Oh, that's going to be going on for a while. Most of the month of June, I think you're going to see them under a fair amount of stress, just financially, and then also the backlog of not all plants being up and operating in order for people to be able to sell, for a dairy farmer to be able to sell their milk in the way that they normally would. For those of you who are on the fence, should I drink milk? Should I not? Well, a heads up for you. Dairy is not only good for your bones, but also good for your teeth. We've always known that. And it actually is a food that you could pretty much survive on because it carries all of the essential vitamins and minerals that you would need. So you can go right ahead and just use milk as your source of food. The whole world drinks milk in a variety of places. 2.1 billion liters every day are consumed, and that fills up 813 Olympic-sized swimming pools. So if you thought a milk bath was good for your skin, you can do that just by jumping in a pool full of it.
That'd be a lot of milk.
It's a fair amount of milk, absolutely.
Sure
and a cow will go ahead and turn grass into milk within 2 or 3 days. Depending on the breed, a cow can make between 25 and 40 liters of milk per day. That's a good size production.
That's a decent amount as well. Hey, do you know what the record is
Yeah.
off the top of your head? I think we have mentioned it one time before, but do you remember what that number was?
We did. It was a record-setting number of gallons produced by that cow, or I should say pounds. I know I have it, and I can probably find it on our next break. I'm pretty sure I can dig that out for us as to what it was.
Yeah, we can do that. Well, a few other topics that we're going to try to get to here in either this segment or at the back end of our show. So what do you do when handling broken legs and calves? I mean, probably got to use some form of a splint or maybe not a splint, Bridgette?
If you can, that there are fractures that can be splinted and those that cannot be. So that's one concern. And is it an open fracture? Will you have to worry about infection, just like we would worry about in humans?
What would cause something like that in the case of a calf having a broken leg? Because most of the time with people, it just comes down to stupidity or, unfortunately, some accidents. But what's going on to where a calf would end up breaking its leg? Is this where the mother sits on it, or are they jumping out of trees?
Kids are on summer break, and things happen when they have accidents and trip and fall.
Mm-hmm.
Calves can too, as they get moved out to pastures, step in a hole, didn't see it, but can stop and break a leg. They can get stepped on by other animals that would cause that. So there's a number of ways in which a calf could be injured. It's not all fun and games in the pasture, Justin.
No, I can imagine not. Any broken bones, Bridgette? Have you broken anything?
I did. Let me just hold on to that thought before I tell you about my broken bone.
Oh.
But one thing I learned with these animals, that 60% of the weight of a beef or dairy cow is carried in its front 2 feet. So that means each leg is supporting 30% of that animal's weight. So you can see why healing those up would be very important so you don't have any long-lasting effects. Then back to me breaking a bone. I was viciously flung from a golf cart at a customer event about 4 years ago and got a boxer's fracture and broke a bone in my hand.
So this is why you're skittish around golf carts. This explains so much from Big Iron now.
Right, doesn't it? This really would give you a much better perspective.
So you're going to jump back on the golf cart this year?
I'm going to hang on a whole lot more tight. I can tell you that.
And yeah, we are planning on being back out at Big Iron. They asked us to come back out and do our show there live for a couple of days. And I believe that's in July. Is it not, or is it in August?
September. It will be
wow,
the
I was
week
way
of
off.
Yeah, it'll be the week after Labor Day. So yes, we'll have Big Iron coming up very quickly. In fact, I'll just scroll to my calendar. It's one of those things I might sort of keep track of. And we'll be going to Big Iron September 13th, 12th, September 12th, 13th, and 14th. That's a 3-day event out at West Fargo Fairgrounds.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I had a blast going out last year. Got to see all the big new technology, the equipments, and even the old stuff, like some of the original Steigers and their old little museum that they had there in the back corner. That was pretty cool.
Absolutely. And just like our guest on Tuesday, Machinery Pete mentioned, he is on the lookout for a Ford Steiger themed pickup from probably about 1977, 78, somewhere in there. And if anybody has a lead on where one of those pickups might still exist, only 150 were made, we're supposed to let him know. And I have a rough idea where I saw a photo and or a toy of one. I just have to go back and see if I can find the real pickup too.
Right. And if you want to send those leads over, you can send them over to ag@flagfamily.com or pick up the phone and call us right here to join our conversation at 701-293-9000. Again, it's the Red Wing Shoes phone line. And it's also the number that you'll use to connect to us through the entirety of our show whenever you feel convenient so to do so. Let's see.
So you mentioned weather, though, and you said there's a chance that the smoke is going to come back from Bismarck. How so? Because I had a friend yesterday describe the smoke outside. He said after spending that many hours in there checking fields, it was like having been in a smoky dance bar in the 90s in college. So I don't think he meant that in a positive way.
I mean, that could have brought back some good memories or maybe some poor memories as well. Yeah, it's kind of 50-50.
Go either way.
At least we're not talking about the college days of Dean.
Well, that's true. We're not allowed to talk about those. I think there's still some reasons for it.
Well, yeah, we're going to be worried about the smoke coming back in tomorrow. And we're still dealing with some of it today, but nothing like yesterday. So the conditions that we got right now is what we're going to get for the rest of today. Just some hazy sunshine. We have temperatures reaching throughout the 70s up and down the valley. We're at 76 right now here in Fargo. East winds are light at 7 miles an hour. And we'll see the winds generally staying around 5 to 15 today. As we head into the overnight hours, temperatures are going to slide down into the upper 50s near 60 degrees for most of us. We'll have winds switching to the southeast about 5 to 15 miles an hour. And then for Friday, we'll watch for a cold front to be kind of parking its way over our area. That's going to bring in a likely chance for some scattered showers throughout the afternoon. Temperatures, again, are going to be in the lower 80s, similar to today. And wind, a little subtle breeze, but not too bad. A few gusts up to 20. And we'll get a better chance for those showers as we head into our Friday night. Throughout Friday afternoon, those should hold just west of the valley. And then those will push over the valley overnight, and temperatures will be in the lower 60s. And as for the weekend, we got a big weekend. Father's Day weekend is on Sunday for Father's Day. Looks like Father's Day is going to be pretty nice. There will be some scattered showers, a few storms on Saturday. Most of those look to favor over into Minnesota. We'll have highs right around 80. And then it looks like just about all of that is going to push out of our area on Sunday. So we'll call it partly cloudy. Isolated shower looks possible over in Lakes Country, but early on in the day, and then drying out throughout the afternoon, and temperatures will rebound back to the mid-80s, so it will be a warm and partly cloudy afternoon for Father's Day.
That sounds awesome, actually. Very nice afternoon. I hope you enjoy it. This will be your first official Father's Day.
Yes, it will. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
That's going to be awesome. Oh, man.
Hey, you want to hear about next week?
What do I need to know about next week?
It'll be hot.
Oh, really? Is it going to be hot for the rest of this month? What happens to temperatures 2 to 4 degrees below normal?
Well, from the period of which the LRC forecast was given to date, we are still about 3 to 4 degrees below average.
This seems odd.
But
I'm not completely agreeing.
Due to blocking over the last several weeks, we've been kind of stuck in that dome. and all the warm air has been rushing up from the south and parking over the northern plains and the Great Lakes area, and that's just been causing the above average temperatures for the last couple of weeks. We're averaging for the last 30 days about 9 to 12 degrees above average, which is pretty significant for this area. But it does look like we will start to cool things down once we fully break down that block, which is slowly working closer to the East Coast. We just got a few more days of it. Looks like we're going to be working our way into the lower to mid 90s for Monday and Tuesday and next week. Then we drop back down to the lower and mid 80s. And then our weather pattern is more progressive than just this really slow moving, similar weather day after day after day after day.
Let's be honest. Hey, South, I'm talking Arkansas, Louisiana. I'm looking at you guys. Enough with your parking and blockages. Get rid of this. Now, granted, our soybeans and our Here We Grow project are liking it. And I do have some farmers that have had plenty of moisture and they're having to farm around some wet spots right now. They'd be okay with progress on their corn, their soybeans, etc. But I just don't like it terribly hot.
Yeah,
Just
especially
saying.
when we don't get the rain. And although there's chances for rain this week, I wouldn't bet much on the Friday night showers. Doesn't look like it'll add up to much. Saturday will favor Minnesota, so North Dakota's kind of getting the short end of the stick on that one. Middle of next week, of course, still a lot of time. Things can slightly change in timing, but middle of next week looks like a pretty good shot at some wider spread rain. That'll be our best chance for a little measurable precip, as well as when we ditch those hot conditions. But we got to head to a break here. We got a guest coming up with us. Bridgette, do you want to introduce who our guest is going to be when we come back?
Jodi Delozier. And I got to make sure I say Jodi's last name right. She is with North Dakota State University, and she's going to talk about soil conservation districts. What are they? Well, come back in just a few minutes, and Jodi's going to explain. We'll talk to her then.
Hello, Fargo. This is John Adams, your host of Talk of the Town. My show is designed to highlight everything great about the city, the valley, and the country in which we live. I've had the great fortune of meeting, working, and living with wonderful people in the Fargo-Moorhead area, and I want to bring their stories to you. Human interest stories, sports, timely topics that affect all of us in the Red River Valley. Talk of the Town with John Adams. Tune in for positivity and fun.
West Funeral Home, in your difficult time, the little things we do for you help give you peace of mind. We understand your feelings and the memories that you share, a personal touch with dignity to show how much you care. West Funeral Home and Life Tribute Center, little things make the difference.
Honey, great news. It's been 6 months and we've saved enough money in our swear jar for a new roof.
Oh, wow. That's just the news I wanted to hear, said no one ever.
Don't wait for your swear jar to fill up before you call Fargo Roofing and Siding. Protect your house now and deal with the repair in a non-stressful way. We also offer financing to fit your budget.
Let's make the call and get this roof fixed online at fargoroofing.com.
Premium quality, premium service, Fargo values, Fargo Roofing and Siding.
We're talking with Adam at Cheyenne Gardens up in Harwood. And so, Adam, if people are thinking about planting trees right now, what advice would you have for them?
So the advice I'd have on planting a tree is most of our trees this time of year, we're all container grown. So when we take it out of the container, we want to dig that hole about twice as wide as the pot. And we want to dig the hole to the depth of the top of the soil level the tree is in the pot. And so you're digging your hole about twice as wide and about the same depth as the soil. I'll add a little peat moss or composted manure or old potting soil at a 1/3 blend to my backfill soil, and I'll backfill that tree in. I'll rough up those roots a little bit before I do that with my hands. And then a 10-gallon tree, I'll give 10 gallons of water. A 15-gallon tree, I'll give 15 gallons of water on the first watering. And what I'll do is I'll take my hose and fill my 5-gallon pail and just count and drag my hose out and do my count. Then I'll put my tree guard on in the fall, about the 1st of October. And sometimes I even stake and fence the tree to keep the rabbits off. But that's my advice.
All right, very good.
And then always check before you water.
All right, very good. And if they're doing shrubs, anything different there?
About the same. You just want to take that pot. If it's a 2-gallon shrub, about 2.5 gallons of water. And so we have a measured volume of water, and we always want to check before we water.
Excellent. Thanks, Adam. Cheyenne Gardens is a great place to wander, admire, and explore for the largest variety of trees, shrubs, and bedding plants in the area. Just 10 minutes from Fargo up I-29 in Harwood. put Cheyenne Gardens on top of your list as the best place to visit for your gardening and landscaping this year.
What do eyewear and weather have in common? Join us for the Aspire Optical Eye on the Sky weekly weather forecast to find out. Each Tuesday morning, Dean Wysocki, Justin Storm, and myself, Ashley Freeborn, owner of Aspire Optical, will bring you the 7-day forecast.
You never know where we'll be or how it will be presented, but we promise to bring you the most accurate forecast this side of the Red River.
And learn how you can save big on eyewear from Aspire Optical.
Watch the Aspire Optical Eye on the Sky weekly weather forecast on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter pages.
Trust us, this is weather and eyewear like you've never seen.
Hey, it's Big Game James McCarty and Jace Denman, and we'll be live at the Timber Creek Block Party and Car Show between Sweet Shots and Kingpins on June 20th.
Pick up your Timber Creek Block Party passport at any Timber Creek business anytime between now and June 20th so you can be registered for great prizes at the Block Party. We will be there live during the Jay Thomas Show and live with Primetime Sports.
So come for classic cars, live music, great food, and a chance to win prizes on June 20th. Details at sweetshots.com or check out their social media pages.
And welcome back to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm Bridgette Readel, Ag Director, along with, well, today, you're like Chief Wizard of Meteorology, Justin Storm. You don't have to take a back seat today.
Like that. Can you say that again?
Weather Wizard Meteorologist, Justin Storm.
That's just got a good ring to it.
I like where that's going. And I also like the fact that, don't forget, if you have a concern about some of those storms and that weather, this would be a good time for you to call Irie Insurance. They are one of our sponsors for Here We Grow. And Bethany has been great for us to work with in a number of ways about our project, about talking on the radio when it comes to insurance plans and so forth. So don't be shy. Give Irie's a jingle if you could. You can visit them, IrieInsurance.com, or you can give them a call, and they will help you out with all your questions and needs. Speaking of questions, that's one of the things we do best. And we have a guest with us today. And Jodi, if I say your last name wrong, I'm going to ask you to correct me. But this is Jodi Delozier, and she is with NDSU. But she also, she and I had a great conversation one day about soil conservation districts. So Jodi, tell us a little bit about who you are and what's a soil conservation district?
You are, but the microphone is not here. One second.
Oh, so it looks like we've got to make sure that we plug her microphone in, you guys. That's a bad day, is when we've got the mic disconnected for our forecast.
We had an unplugged microphone somehow. I'm going to blame Janae.
Okay, I think I'm here.
Okay.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I'm Jodi.
Go for it, Jodi.
Jodi Delozier. So you were very, very close. And I'm actually work with NDSU Extension as an extension specialist and program director for soil and water leadership. I have a PhD in natural resource sciences. I'm actually from Nebraska. I came up here in February 2022, and I do know Dean Wysocki. He was on Channel 8 when I was in Lincoln. So I feel like I have a connection here with everyone at WDAY.
He was supposed to be here too, but last minute he's like, going on vacation tomorrow. I'm going to take the afternoon off.
He just didn't want to be here with the things I had to say.
I guess so. Well, you can share those with us, of course.
Maybe later. Maybe when I'm off the air, I can share some stories.
We can do that.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I have an extensive education background and as well as professional program development and training background. And when I came here in 2022, I came as a program coordinator working with the soil conservation districts in Area 2. And since that time, I have become the program director. And so now I support and work with the soil conservation districts across the state. So that includes 54 soil conservation districts, as well as the State Soil Conservation Committee. So
I got to ask right off the bat, sorry, Bridgette, when you say soil conservation, what does that mean? What is soil conservation for those who don't know?
So do you want me to explain the concept of soil conservation, or actually what the districts, their organizational structure, and really what their mission and purpose is?
Let's start with what it is and then what their mission is to do with it.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little history lesson.
Okay.
So back in 1935, so this would be during the Dust Bowl time, the USDA, prompted by Hugh Hammond Bennett, who they consider the father of soil conservation district, they began looking for ways to extend conservation assistance to farmers because we had so much soil erosion going on. And so this resulted in the development of the standard state soil conservation district law. And thanks to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, he signed this into law in 1937. And then that became the Soil and Water Conservation Districts. That was the outcome was the Soil and Water Conservation Districts. Although the United States adopted this law in 1937, North Carolina being the first state to bring a soil conservation district into being. North Dakota did not adopt this officially. Well, they adopted it in 1937, but it wasn't until 1944 in Foster County that we had our first soil conservation district. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see different titles for this: soil and water conservation district, conservation districts, but here in North Dakota, it's soil conservation district. So that the mission of the soil conservation districts is that they're responsible for carrying out programs that deal with soil and water conservation in local communities within their district. So again, we have 54 soil conservation districts. We have supervisors, so a board of supervisors, and then we also have district staff, and they work to promote programming, events, and activities that deal with the conservation of soil, of water quality, wildlife habitat, grassland management. They do a lot of both rural and urban activities. So I want to clarify that the soil conservation districts are not just for rural North Dakota. They are there for all community members, and they are a resource.
Okay.
And I think that's just a huge point for folks is we think about soil conservation districts also strictly as they're just the folks that supply extra trees when you want to plant them out on the farm. Okay, so that's a misconception too. You mentioned some of the projects and so forth that people work on, and I know we're just about to the bottom of the hour, Jodi, and we're probably going to have to take an extended amount of time to talk through what that means, doesn't it? Because I don't think it's a short answer.
No, it's not.
Okay, so how about we do that? We're going to jump into a quick break, but we want to come back with Jodi because we want her to keep talking about what's going on with the soil conservation districts and what some of those misconceptions are, and then the reality of what they actually do around the state in all those 54 different districts. So we're going to do that. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Kennedy Coulter. You may have heard of my dad, DJ Coulter from American Family Insurance. As his biggest and most difficult client, I can tell you for a fact he can handle any situation. Whether you need advice or help finding the right vehicle, property, personal, commercial, or farm and ranch insurance, he's going to take care of you. Go to djcoulter.com and find out for yourself. That's djcoulter.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/FREE. ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
She's moving to Georgia.
Jada's podiatry clinic's top nurse quit, leaving her business toes up.
We've got 6 procedures and 3 major surgeries in the next 2 days.
She needs a new RN who can think on their feet.
There's no way I can do all these procedures on my own.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You're invited to worship with us at Olivet Lutheran Church in Fargo. We offer a 9 a.m. Sunday traditional service with communion where all are welcome to participate. If you can't worship with us in person, you can always watch live or later on our YouTube channel. Following worship, we have time for fellowship with coffee and donuts and light service projects like packing up food for our food pantry. For more information, go to olivet.org. Encounter Jesus, experience grace at Olivet Lutheran Church on the corner of 13th Avenue and South University Drive, Fargo.
The defending American Association champion, FM Redhawks, conclude a 3-game series against the Kansas City Monarchs tonight at 7:02. It's PBR night at the ballpark. The first 1,000 fans, 21 plus, receive a Redhawks koozie thanks to PBR. Redhawks and Monarchs tonight at 7:02. Get your tickets now at the Redhawks ticket office by calling 235-6161 or online at fmredhawks.com. FM Redhawks baseball. We've got the bases covered for fun.
Attention electricians, Northern Valley Electrical Service, Inc. is looking for trained electricians to join their team at the Altru Hospital build in Grand Forks. Northern Valley Electrical Service, Inc. is one of the largest and fastest growing electrical companies. They're family oriented and it's like working with good friends. They offer great pay and incentives. Working hours up to 10 hours per day, Monday through Saturday, but not mandatory. Join the Northern Valley Electrical Service team today. Call Danny at 701-741-0723.
Welton's Tire reminds you, if you have children living on or visiting your farm, designate a play area to separate the farm's safe play area from its working areas. Farm buildings, equipment, and fields may look more like playgrounds than work sites, but it's important to teach safe farm practices. Senseless injuries don't have to be a part of the cost of farming. Welton's Tire in Lisbon is your one-stop for auto service, tires, and on-farm service. Welton's Tire online at weltonstire.net.
Welcome back to WDAY, Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm Bridgette Readel, Ag Director, along with Weather Wizard Justin Storm, Meteorologist in-house. Oh, no thunder and lightning. Thank you. There it is. That's even better. No problem. All right, and we should have a barn door, if you could, for Steffes Group. There it is. There. Steffes Group is one of our Here We Grow sponsors. And their website, steffesgroup.com, will bring you to information on any upcoming auctions. In 2022, they performed 670 auctions in 12 states, had bidders from all 50 states and 38 different countries. They operate a huge section of the auction business. And what's going to be great fun is when we get to do our video with them for Here We Grow, I think we're going to try to do it at an auction. Keep your hands to yourself, Justin. We don't have that kind of financing.
We got Dean's wallet and Dean's perfect credit score. It's no longer perfect.
He just doesn't know it yet.
No, he
so,
does not. Wait till he gets that return.
Speaking of perfect, we brought in the perfect guest for today to talk about soil conservation districts, and that is Dr. Jodi. Okay, I'm going to sound this out so I get it right. Delozier.
Yes.
There
we go.
Perfect.
Excellent. Jodi is joining us to talk about the Soil Conservation District. And as we left off, I had asked, okay, most people associate that with, well, I just want to get some trees for around the farm, but I think it's way more than that. What are some of the other projects people should be aware of?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Bridgette, because yes, they don't just plant trees. They do a lot of conservation education. And again, they don't just reach out to the rural population, also your urban communities as well. So a lot of times you would, maybe if you have children who are in middle school, they participate in an Eco Ed Day. And I know here in south of us in Richland County, they take the kids out to, I think it's the Bonanza Farm, and that's where they do their Eco Ed. And they talk about conservation and ag and natural resources. And so that's done all across the state. In addition,
okay, so
go ahead.
that what you mentioned, the Bonanza Farm, that's the Bag Bonanza Farm
Yeah.
at Morton. And for those who are wondering, that is probably one of the last replicas of an actual working Bonanza Farm. And the fact that you tie that into an eco day is so awesome. Just summer vacations, people, make sure you stop there and see all the good things that happen. But on to more projects, Jodi.
Well, yes. In addition to that, they do water festivals, support an Environthon. I know that the Cass County SCD, which is very engaged in our city and in our district, also supports the Environthon. If we look to Western North Dakota, where we're dealing with grassland management and ranching, they will have a lot of workshops, shop talks, tours. So I believe in Ward County in July, they're having a saline soils strategy. So they really are educating about soil conservation, talking about erosion, manure management, pasture management. Again, over in North Dakota in the West, they're doing a big Muddy Creek grazing show. And so they do a lot of partnership work as well. That's one thing I want to stress. Soil conservation districts are really good about partnering with a lot of local, state, and federal agencies here in this great state. I've got a list of partners that we like to work with, such as not only NRCS, but with Dakota Audubon, Pheasants Forever. They work with North Dakota Games and Fish, as well as North Dakota Forest Service. And a lot of times when they work with an organization, they're looking for funding. They do cost share opportunities so that they can put these programs on the ground.
I see. I want to ask something for the urban counterpart to our listening audience. If someone's listening, they're like, okay, we're talking rural, talking this, that, arboretums, conservation. What's one thing that someone in an urban setting has got no ag background, no land experience, they just come into the city, something that they should know about this organization, this group, this district? What is something that's important about it that would be relevant to them?
Well, beyond the eco-ed and the fact that they work with city kids, introducing them to ag and natural resources, they do talk a lot about pollinator habitats. And that's one thing that we put a lot of emphasis into is creating bigger habitats as well as just bringing them into the city as well. Tree canopy is a big concern in cities. Also pocket prairies. That's something that is a big part of what the Cass County Soil Conservation District does, is putting in these little areas of prairie grassland. Something else that you had mentioned, Justin, was the arboretums. So we do know that in certain pockets of the state, some of our soil conservation districts are maintaining arboretums, and they're absolutely beautiful. They're open to the public. A lot of times they will provide educational programming, tips on how to prune trees, tree identification, things like that. Also, just because you live in an urban community doesn't mean you can't take part in demonstration sites. So if you go to, I believe in Area 4, which is our south central area of soil conservation districts here in the state, they have a very big research demonstration plot that they use, that they're actually having a big, I'm trying to find the information on my sheet. It's called Friends and Neighbors Day, and it's July 20th, and it's at the Area 4 Soil Conservation District Cooperative Research Farm in Morton County. And I guess it's been there for about 40 years. And this was kind of new to me. Yeah. And they do a lot of integrated cropping system, water use efficiency, soil quality. So I really urge people to kind of tap into their soil conservation districts. And most districts have a website. So you just have to Google Cass County Soil Conservation District. The website will pop up.
Okay. And is that where, since we're just talking about this topic right now, and we'll come back to the contact towards the end, but if someone was looking for, I want to know what these demonstrations are, I want to know what events are going on, what's the next educational thing, is that the website they should go to see everything that's listed and dates and whatnot?
There is not a comprehensive website across the state, but if you, in your county, I urge you to either go to the website and just, the example I gave, you could do Morton County Soil Conservation District website. It'll pop up and the events will come up, or you can go to their Facebook page. The majority of the soil conservation districts do have a Facebook page.
Sure.
So I got a couple of questions for you too, Jodi. You have like a governing board for each one of the districts, correct?
Yes.
Who should be on the boards? Because this is going to sound jokingly, but to those in the rural community, they'll understand this when I say, if you get on the township board or the water board or even the soil conservation board, it's like a lifetime commitment, right? You never get off. But should we see some turnover? Should we be getting some folks from town as part of those boards? What are maybe the changes we could make in that makeup of what they look like too?
Absolutely, you can get on a soil conservation district board. It is not just for producers. And if you look at the Cass, and I know I keep referring back to Cass County, but we're here in Fargo, and I was their area program coordinator, so I'm very familiar with their district. They have a real variety of board members. And just to clarify, there's 5 board members, which we call supervisors. 3 of them are elected, 2 are appointed. And if you want to be a board supervisor, they are always looking for people. So I would just contact your board. We would like to have teachers, business people, organic farmers, regular people that just live in the community that are interested in conservation, because conservation comes in all sizes, and there isn't one size fits all. And the greater the variety of individuals that you have on the board, I think the better the outcomes and the better the programming.
And especially when you said it's not just focused on producers, but you're looking at things like urban prairie pockets and pollinators. And those are investments that people want to make as they have larger yards and they're invested in what's going on just in their own space that they have and own. So I think that's probably a pretty good fit for a lot of people. Many good things.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that there's any... I don't know if you'd want to use the word requirement, but is there anything that they specifically look for in this department or anything like that, like a background that would kind of do better than another one?
To be a supervisor on a board?
Yes.
Oh, it's so rigorous. You have to submit your resume, fill out an application. They do reference checks. No, it's pretty laid back. If you have an interest in conservation, they'll want you.
Okay. Perfect. Well, a place where, again, people can get information about this. Maybe they want to look more into becoming a board member, supervisor, or just the generalness about the soil conservation. A couple different websites or any social medias that someone could go to find that information and maybe get in contact with their local district.
I would say the best bet is to go online, first of all, and see if you can find their website, because they'll have contact information. I did not mention that with each district, there is a district staff. Mm-hmm. It may be one person, it may be 3 or 4 people, but they are more than willing to help you out. Also, check their Facebook page. We have a State Soil Conservation Committee Facebook page as well. And feel free to contact myself as well. I'm located at NDSU, so I'm in Fargo, in Morrill Hall on the 3rd floor. Can I give my email address?
Of course you can.
So it's Jodi, Jodi, Delozier, Delozier at ndsu.edu. I would give you my phone number, but I don't remember it. I apologize.
Hey, that's all right. That's all right.
But it's so much easier to reach me by email, seriously. Mm-hmm. And I can point you in the right direction. I can get you to the appropriate people. I really am a firm believer in the soil conservation districts because it's localized conservation. Mm-hmm. And they're concerned about what's going on in their district. Not to say that they don't collaborate outside their borders. Mm-hmm. We are really trying to work on, looking at the big picture when it comes to conservation as well as water quality with our watersheds. But because it is a local board, they have a greater interest in what goes on.
I see. Well, Jodi, thanks. Go ahead.
Hold on. We have an email question, Justin. And so this is for Jodi. And when it comes to the big discussions right now about sustainability, regenerative, those are buzzwords and big discussion points that a lot of folks are having. Do you see the soil conservation districts playing a greater part in that? And do you also feel that those who are involved in those discussions may want to take their time to be on part of the soil conservation boards?
I'm going to answer the last part of the question first. Yes, if you are interested in that. even if they don't have a spot for you on the board, you can be an advisory member, or you can just come to a meeting. They're open to the public. And yes, regenerative ag, climate smart practices, they are here to stay. They might change, the word might change a little bit, but the districts are involved in it in the sense of they work with NRCS pretty closely, with FSA. There's a lot of money that's coming out of the Inflation Reduction Act that's going to be disseminated out, and hopefully districts can be a part of that when it comes to conservation programming. So, they're even going to be involved with carbon sequestration and markets and carbon capture. So one of my roles is to really make sure that we keep that awareness out there and bring in speakers that can provide the information necessary so that they're well-versed. And, when EAB gets into North Dakota, that's something that the soil conservation districts will be involved in.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Jodi, again,
Emerald ash borer, by the way.
Yeah,
That's what that is, EAB, Emerald ash borer.
We need to get that under wraps.
Okay.
I wish we could, but it's coming.
It's such a difficult little pest.
Mm-hmm. Very.
Well, Jodi, thanks very much for coming into studio today. We're glad to have you, and maybe have you on again in the future.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
I enjoyed it.
Well, we got to check out the American Ag Network, and when we come back, I got a couple more ag topics, a check on the forecast, and as always, any questions you may have.
Happy Days are here again. Welcome to Happy Days, June 15th through the 18th in Lisbon, North Dakota. From your friends at Riverside Building Center. They are Southeastern North Dakota's premier dealer for all of your building supply requirements, from the basics to home improvement and complete pre-build homes. Also stop in for Do It Best hardware store needs. Enjoy Happy Days from Riverside Building Center, located at 1015 South Main, your local building supply headquarters in Lisbon. Happy Days are happening in Lisbon on June 15th through the 18th. Your friends Andy and Clint at Devitt Plumbing invite you to enjoy all the fun activities and events for the entire family at Happy Days. Devitt Plumbing is proud to be a part of the Lisbon community and serving the area for over 40 years. Contact Andy and Clint for installation, remodeling, and service. Have fun at Happy Days from Devitt Plumbing. Hey Jace, I have a great idea.
What?
On Friday, June 23rd, we're going to go to the longest open house and we're going to jazzercise from 9 to 10.
No, you can't be serious.
I definitely am, and just to incentivize you, we're going to have Jersey Mike subs afterwards.
You know, you should have led with that. That's the longest open house, 64-hour, record-breaking event raising funds for a cure to Alzheimer's.
That sounds like a great idea, Jace. We're inviting you to join us Friday, June 23rd with the Coffee Club from 8:30 to 11 a.m. for the longest open house.
It's summer in a big way. So go big at Mall of America. Your summer adventure is on with a stay at Radisson Blu Mall of America, conveniently connected to the mall. Swim a little, spa a little, shop up to 500 stores, enjoy every kind of dining, and so much more. Nickelodeon Universe has live Paw Patrol shows. Then get creative with the youngest ones at Crayola Experience. So you can go big just by going to Mall of America. mallofamerica.com/summer.
A risk-on day in grains and the outside markets. You're listening to the American Ag Network of Jesse Allen with this market update. We're being joined now for market analysis by Mark Lucas of StoneX and for Arlen Suderman here today. Mark, as we take a look here at the grain and oilseed trade first, it feels like the main storyline here, weather. That is what seems to be driving the gains here as we work through Thursday's session. What are you seeing in grains and oilseeds? Walk us through what you're thinking there.
You know, certainly that's the driving point here. And you know, we've got several forecasters on one side of the equation saying that with this El Nino kicking in, we're going to see cooler temps and better moisture coming up here. And on the opposite side of the equation, you've got some saying that, you know, this June dryness is going to continue on. And, you know, so far the National Weather Service forecast seems to be at least out to the 14-day kind of leading that way towards the staying dry. So kind of a battle of the forecasters here. You look back at past history, it tells you don't get too excited about lack of moisture in early June. You know, I think one thing I read said if you take the 10 driest years in early June since 1986, 5 ended up with above normal yields. 3 with about normal, and then just 2 years since 1986 with below normal. So I was just telling you, something to watch, but I wouldn't get too crazed about it right now.
All right. Well, we appreciate the insight. That is Mark Lucas of Stone Exit for Arlen Suderman here today. Soy complex really 25 to 35 higher, with corn anywhere from about 9 to 15 higher. The wheat trade 10 to 15 higher this hour as well. Cattle futures are moderately lower off the lows of the session, though, while hogs are mixed to slightly lower in the July contract. You're listening to the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen reporting.
Pucklet Chevrolet Buick GMC in Valley City makes it easy to find your next Chevrolet Buick GMC or pre-owned vehicle by offering a great selection at our best prices possible.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us. 1:52 this Thursday afternoon. A little smoky out there. Temperatures are in the mid-70s right now, and we're on our way to highs in the low 80s. It's looking like it'll be a pretty nice day outside of the smoky, hazy conditions. But again, outside of that, not too bad. Much better than yesterday. Bridgette, you got any fun plans coming up? We know we're coming up on a weekend, and it looks like it'll be a few scattered showers on Saturday. But any fun plans?
Well, in the midst of Garden Wars 2023 between Dean and Justin, between I and Justin, I need to plant some beets and some basil and those types of things. And I want to know, should I plant those today and they're going to get rain? Can I plant them tomorrow and they're going to get rain? What's my options here?
You know, you could plant them today, but you're not getting any rain today. You could plant them tomorrow. If you're within the valley, you're not getting any rain until overnight. If you're west of the valley, you will see a few scattered showers throughout the afternoon. But our bet within the valley comes in overnight Friday, and then as well as on Saturday with some scattered showers and even a few thunderstorms. And for the most part, this is going to favor more southern valley and then over into Lakes Country, Detroit, Bemidji down to Fergus Falls, Alexandria, all of Lakes Country looks to get about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch throughout the weekend. So that's great for them. Northern Valley, for the most part, looks like less than a 1/4 inch, and throughout the Southern Valley, again, about that 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. A few spots probably will go, unfortunately, dry just due to the scattered nature of the showers. But if you get under a couple, or let's just say a couple of the slow-moving thunderstorms on Saturday, you could pick up a quick inch of rain in a few spots. So a few of us will get luckier than others, and unfortunately, a few of us will be quite unlucky if you dodge all of the rain.
All right. Well, okay. I guess I can just go forward and plan to water just in case. Maybe that'll bring me some rain showers no matter what.
I'll tell you where the driest spots look to be setting up right now, and that looks to be between Valley City, Jamestown, and then kind of creeping into western Grand Forks County. That looks to be the driest area. Otherwise, everyone else should get at least a 1/10 of an inch of rain, and then again, those localized areas up to an inch, but generally about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch here in Fargo by the time we're through our weekend. So a quick rundown on that forecast again. Low 80s today, low 80s tomorrow. It's going to be dry, hazy sunshine, showers pushing overnight Friday, and then scattered showers and some storms on Saturday. Sunday dries out, and then as for next week, we start warming back into the low 90s.
There we go.
But weather turns more active next week. It looks like we're going to get...
So that could increase.
We're going to get 2 decent chances for wider spread rain that could, right now, initial signs, 3/4 to 1.5 inches is what it's looking like right now. We'll see how that evolves. We're still a long ways away, but that's the signs that I'm seeing right now.
All right, we're going to take what we can get. So... something along those lines, taking what you get. Well, how about you be careful? A lot of folks are out traveling. They're on vacation. And we don't have the longhorn tick here in the Dakotas as of yet, but it's as close as Nebraska. Sometimes I kind of have to wonder, what does come out of Nebraska? Well, Dean's not here to ask that question of him.
He'd start rambling off all sorts of stuff, and I would just respond with corn.
Well, and the longhorn tick. This is the second most frequently reported tick, but its bite will also potentially trigger an allergic reaction in some humans to red meat. So if you've been bit by that tick, you may suddenly have an allergy to beef, pork, venison, and rabbit. It is the alpha gal, and that's what it's called. It's in the saliva of this tick, and it enters the human body through a bite. Then when you, as a human, consume red meat, you can have all sorts of symptoms. They usually occur 2 to 8 hours after you've consumed red meat. They can go from fairly severe or such as anaphylactic down to just some hives or some itching. I don't think you or I ever want to have to experience this, Justin. So if you want to avoid it, stay out of the tall grass when you're out hiking. If you think you've picked up ticks on your clothing, run them through the dryer on high for about 30 minutes to bake them out, and then just check carefully to make sure they're not in your hair or along your scalp line or anything like that, so you don't carry them with you.
I've heard a couple of good tips, and maybe this could be a fun listener question. If you want to call in 701-293-9000, tips or strategies to keeping ticks off of you. And a couple that I know is that you tuck your pants into your socks so the ticks can't go under your jeans or your pants. They have to crawl on top of them so you can see them easier. And the other one is putting duct tape inside out, either around your ankles or your thighs, so when the ticks get to it, they stick to it.
Okay, those seems like good ideas. Somehow I have always been bypassed by that. So if I have found a tick on me, and if they have already started to bury their head, I was always told to use rubbing alcohol on a Q-tip to irritate them so they'd back out, and then you could remove them. My grandpa always said, just take a lighter and burn them.
Yep, pop.
But if that happens, but if that happens close to my hairline, I'm not putting a lighter up there. Do you have any idea how much hairspray is in this mess? I mean, good Lord, I go up like a Roman candle.
Oof.
So let's not do that one, people. That'd be terrible.
Definitely not. Let's see. I'm trying to think there was another.
No, let's skip that.
Another little tip. There's something you can actually wear. They make a product that repels ticks where they like sense it and they just fall off of you. And I don't remember what it was called. I don't know if it's like some sort of bug spray or if it's some little I can't remember what it was, but I'm pretty sure they make a product like that as well.
There are some fabrics that have those types of products incorporated into the fabric weave so that if you wear it, it would be a deterrent for the tick to crawl on you as well. So those are some options for people to do to avoid that longhorn tick, which again, still mostly found south of us towards Nebraska.
Right. Well, here's a reminder for you. Here We Grow, episode 9 is launching tomorrow. Late morning, early afternoon, somewhere in there. You can find it on our YouTube channel, Weather and Ag in Focus. Also on our Facebook, also Weather and Ag in Focus. And Bridgette, what were we talking about in this upcoming episode?
Soybeans are up. Let's look at their growth stages. And then also, what are the resources that we can use that NDSU provides for us to put them in their best health, whether it's against disease, bugs, or weeds for the remainder of the season?
Right.
We'll give you those clues when you watch.
Well, appreciate it, Bridgette. That's going to be it for us here on Weather and Ag in Focus today. We're back tomorrow, 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The Jay Thomas Show is next.
AM 970 and